Welcome to the Ideal Investor Show. Join us on the journey to financial success. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ideal Investor Show. And today I want to go back into a little bit of the statistical evaluation of the market that we are in. And I want to right off the bat say that when I say we, I look through the lens of us, you and me and the listeners here predominantly being investors in residential real estate. Maybe using these investments to create positive cash flow, get to early retirement, develop a steady income stream that is as passive as it can be. So all of those aspects to take into consideration. What I've seen is a really interesting evaluation and analysis that was looking at the next generation of real estate owners. And it's always the question, will the future generations be able to buy and own and invest into real estate like my generation or maybe the generation of my kids? And here's some of the data that I wanted to share with you. So it was found that the people that are considered members of the Gen X, when they were asked, how likely do you think it is that you will be able to own your own house in your lifetime? 80% said they don't think they will ever be able to afford a house. And when you take Gen Z and the millennials, 54% said they don't think that they will ever be able to have enough money to afford to own their own house. This goes together with some other relatively negative expectations because these kids, so to speak, from my perspective, don't just say, I don't expect to own my own house. They also say, I don't expect to have any money from Social Security when I get to that age, like my parents and their parents had. They believe Social Security will be out of money before they get to be 60 or 65 or 70. So they have no expectation to get money like that. For us as investors in residential real estate, we can obviously see a silver lining in that pessimism because we could say, well, that's in a sense good for us because us as investors in real estate that we rent, we would be happy to rent to people who acknowledge that they will be forever renters and hopefully they're responsible renters who dependably pay their rent and they appreciate that they can rent a house even if they can't own it. And so we will have a growing pool of tenants. That's, from that perspective, a good thing. Now, when you look at what's called the generational contract, basically the idea that I, for example, would like for my daughter and my grandson to have a better life than I had, then that is really not a good perspective because if they say we don't get Social Security and they say we will forever have to rent and cannot really develop any kind of assets that typically starts with their own house, the question becomes, okay, how do they actually survive? How are they actually going to live? And when you add the aspect and just as I'm recording this, we just passed the event that Tesla had to show their new robots and the next generation of robots coming. There is a strong anticipation that a lot of jobs may go away because of the introduction of robots that do at least dangerous jobs or repetitive jobs or stuff like that. So those who say, I can't afford a house, so I'll be a tenant forever, and I can't get retirement money from Social Security, and maybe also have a hard time having a well-paying job, then the question is, how is life going to look like? To me, this means I have to make sure that the next generations in my line of family are cared for and supported by assets that I'm accumulating so that when I'm no longer around, they can benefit from it. If that plan is going to work out or not, I don't know, but that's what I mean by long-term investing and long-term passive income. So I found it was quite interesting that almost all the following generations are very much believing that it is quite unlikely for them to really have any kind of significant assets, or you could say what used to be the American dream, like, the house with the white picket fence and your family in it, is probably unachievable in their opinion. I don't know if they're right or if they're wrong, but I want to at least make sure that for my family there is an alternative. Even if they didn't create the assets themselves or buy the assets themselves, I want to try to find a way to make them available to them. So I don't know if you resonate with that. I would love to hear what you have to say. Please comment, please rate, please give reviews to this episode and get in touch. And if you like to talk about it, please go to idealinvestorshow.com and find the button that says book a call and we have a conversation about it. So that's it for today. Be well and stay safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.